This is the Peugeot 308 SW, the estate version of the well-received 308 hatchback. It's a fair bit longer than the hatch, with improved room for both passengers and luggage, and it features a new range of impressively efficient petrol and diesel engines. Spacious load area with a wheelbase. The distance between the front and rear wheels, that's 11 centimeters longer than the hatch. The rear doors open wider and there's more knee room for rear passengers. The bulk of the extra length is concentrated behind the rear wheels though, with an extra 22 centimeters of rear overhang, making for a genuinely huge boot. With 660 liters of space to the parcel shelf with the rear seats up, it's actually more spacious than the Peugeot 508 SW estate. A major plus point is the fact that the rear seats fold completely flat, providing you've moved the front seats forward a touch, and a load-through hatch in the middle of the rear seat backs is standard. The boot lip is low to help make packing heavy objects easier, and there are rails along the boot floor with sliding and removable anchor points. Although there's less underfloor storage space than you might expect, it is possible to stow the retractable parcel shelf diagonally over the spare wheel well. Although the SW has a larger boot in terms of litres than rivals such as the Skoda Octavia estate and Honda Civic Tourer, it doesn't offer any major advantages over them in terms of pure practicality. Efficient new engines. The 308 SW is the first Peugeot to feature the company's new PureTech 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine. We tested the more powerful 128 bhp version and found it to be a seriously impressive engine, with good performance for its size. It's far quieter and smoother than many 3-cylinder engines, and it's more flexible than you might expect too. There's a new range of low-emissions diesels too, the thriftiest of which offers fleet-friendly CO2 emissions as low as 85 gkm and claimed average fuel consumption of 88 miles per gallon, both seriously impressive figures. Modern, minimal interior like the hatchback. There's a strikingly tiny steering wheel and raised instrument cluster, while a large touchscreen takes care of most of the controls, apart from on the entry-level model, which gets conventional buttons and dials. That makes for a clean, minimalist interior, and it's a very nice place to be, with high-quality materials and impressive fit and finish. Some users may find using touchscreen interface while driving a fiddly and distracting task, though. You need to be firm and accurate to hit the function you're after. Strong competition. There's no shortage of competitors for the 308 SW. The VW Golf estate, Seat Leon Street, Skoda Octavia estate, Honda Civic Tourer and Ford Focus estate all have plenty to recommend them. The 308 SW can hold its head up high against them. It's competitively priced, has impressive luggage volume figures, and the new engines are excellent. With its smart, unusual interior, it has a little more character than most of its rivals, too. Feline trim replaced by GT line in 2014, and Sportium added, promising the distilled essence of the 308 GT's sporty nature. The GT line trim replaced Feline and included 18-inch wheels, twin exhausts and a black rear diffusers. To find out more, click on the headings at the top of the page or the ratings below to navigate through the full Peugeot 308 SW review. Performance. An efficient range of engines are offered, including a new ultra-low emissions diesel and an impressive 3-cylinder petrol engine. See the running costs section for more details on fuel economy and CO2 emissions, which make for attractive reading across the range. Petrol engines. The 308 SW is the first Peugeot to feature the company's new PureTech 3-cylinder turbo petrol engines. There are two versions offered in the SW, both are 1.2 litres in size and include a stop-start function. There's the 1.2 F110, which has 109 bhp and comes with a 5-speed manual gearbox. We drove the other version, The more powerful 1.2 F130 with 128 bhp on either a 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic transmission. It's an impressive engine, far quieter and less coarse than many 3-cylinder units from other manufacturers, and flexible too, with smooth acceleration whichever gear you're in. Diesel engines, 4 diesels, are available from a launch. 2 of them are Peugeot's latest Blue Eddy power plants that meet the tighter Euro 6 emissions standards. The range kicks off with a familiar 1.6 to 92, a 91 bhp unit that works well in the regular 308 hatch. It's matched with a 5-speed manual gearbox and is the cheapest of the 4 engine options. Low emissions mean it won't cost much to tax, either. Next level up is the 113 bhp 1.6 Eddy 115 bhp, again already a proven engine in other Peugeot models. It's combined with a 6-speed manual gearbox and features a stop-start system. That's what the bit in the name signifies. If its performance in other models is anything to go by, it'll feel sluggish if you let the revs drop, but punches strongly if you keep it in its sweet spot. By far the most efficient Peugeot 308 SW performance comes from the new 118 bhp Blue Eddy 1.6 120. It offers a rather staggering claimed 88 miles per gallon average and CO2 emissions as low as 85 gkm depending on wheel and tyre size. It's available with a 6-speed manual gearbox only and also has a stop-start system. On the road it's seriously good, far more quiet and refined than Peugeot diesel engines of the recent past and with very usable performance. It doesn't feel strangled in the way that some low-emissions diesels do, with reasonable acceleration available from very low revs and enough shove for overtaking when required. Topping off the range is the larger 148 bhp 2.0 Blue Eddy 150. It too is very quiet on the road, and although it has the highest CO2 emissions of the diesel range, it's still an incredibly clean engine. Stop-start is standard and it's available with either a 6-speed manual or new 6-speed automatic gearbox. We drove the engine with the auto box and it's a pleasant enough transmission on the road, only occasionally thunking a gear home a little more abruptly than you might expect. Unlike the frustratingly jerky EGC semi-auto transmission the old 308 SW was lumbered with, this is a conventional transmission and all the better for it. Peugeot unit brings power and efficiency. 1.2-litre petrol Peugeot engine was launched in 2014 with either 110 bhp or 130 bhp and CO2 emissions as low as 105 gkm. Handling. Like the regular 308 hatch, the 308 SW has a relaxed feel on the road. Ride quality is a good compromise between being soft enough to cope well with bumpy surfaces but firm enough to avoid rolling around too much in the corners. The power steering isn't exactly brimming with feedback, but it's accurate nonetheless, and the tiny steering wheel doesn't feel as out of place as you might expect in what is a relatively large car. Turning circle is good, too, making negotiating car parks an easy task. Equipment. As per the hatchback, there are 4 trim levels: Access, Active, Allure and Feline. Standard Peugeot 308 SW equipment. The entry-level Access model comes with steel wheels and does without the large touchscreen interface that is such a key part of the 308 interior and the rest of the range. It's not entirely a poor relation though, as it still features DAB digital radio, Bluetooth connectivity and a USB port through which to play music from MP3 players, memory sticks and smartphones. Likewise, there's also manual aircon, a cruise control and speed limiter system, electric front windows, LED daytime running lamps and color-coded mirrors and door handles. As the base model, it's unlikely to make up a large proportion of Peugeot 308 SW sales. Next level up is the active trim, which gets 16-inch alloy wheels, Dual-zone aircon, rear parking sensors and automatic headlights and wipers. This trim does feature the multifunction touchscreen in the center of the dashboard, and impressively for a mid-spec trim grade it includes satellite navigation. It also gets an electric handbrake switch rather than a conventional lever whether you like it or not, lumbar support adjustment for the driver's seat and a leather-trimmed steering wheel. Happily, it's proper leather that feels high quality to touch, not the tacky substance found coating the wheel in some cars from rival manufacturers. One from the top is the Allure grade, which upgrades the alloy wheels to 17-inch rims, apart from the Blue Eddy 120 engine version, which sticks with 16s to keep its CO2 emissions down and adds front fog lights, full LED headlights and a reversing camera. Also added to the kit list are front parking sensors and electric folding door mirrors. Topping the range is the Feline, which gets 18-inch alloys, a huge glass roof with a full-length electric blind, tinted rear windows and keyless entry. Inside there are more sportily shaped seats with part Alcantara upholstery and an adjustable lumbar support for both the driver and front passenger. The driver assistance pack explained in the options list below is standard on this trim. Optional Peugeot 308 SW accessories. The Feline trim's 1.6 square meter glass roof is available as an optional extra on lower trim grades. This is the reversing camera and keyless entry and push-button ignition. Like the hatchback, the driver's assistance pack includes 3 systems operated via a radar unit at the front of the car. Dynamic cruise control automatically adjusts the distance to the vehicle in front. Emergency collision alert system sounds an alarm and displays a warning if it thinks you're about to bump into something. And emergency collision braking system applies the brakes automatically in an emergency situation. A further optional safety system is blind spot monitoring, which illuminates a light in the door mirrors to warn of another vehicle hovering in the 308's blind spot before you inadvertently pull out into its path. Park Assist, which can autonomously steer the car into both bay and parallel parking spaces while the driver operates the pedals, is an option too. Also available is the Driver Sport Pack, which adds a sport button on the center console. When pressed, this makes the power steering marginally heavier, turns the instruments a bright shade of red, perks up the throttle response and uses a digital amplifier to artificially enhance the engine's noise via the stereo speakers. Of these functions, the only really useful one is the keener throttle response. The altered steering adds nothing in the way of feel, and while the engine noise certainly sounds racy in the 1.2-litre petrol version, at least it becomes annoying after a while and seems at odds with the 308's easygoing, relaxing driving manners. Lineup changes. In 2014, GT line was introduced in 2014 and replaced the outgoing Feline spec. This offered the sporting looks of the 308 GT, but with a wide choice of efficient engines. It sits between Allure and GT, so you get 18-inch diamond alloy wheels, twin exhausts and black lacquered rear diffuser. Inside are half Alcantara sports seats with red stitching, with lumbar adjustments with massage function. Plenty of other sporting embellishments were added too, including a leather steering wheel and aluminium-style pedals and door sill protectors. The Sportium Special Edition was launched alongside GT line and built on the basic access trim. It adds 16-inch alloy wheels, driver's lumbar support, rear parking sensors, leather steering wheel, leather gear stick gaiter, and automatic headlamps and wipers. Comfort, like the hatchback, Peugeot 308 SW comfort levels are one of the car's strengths. Ride quality is forgiving over lumpy road surfaces, and the new Peugeot petrol and Blue Eddy diesel engines are soothingly quiet. A variety of seat designs are available depending on trim, but each one we tried felt comfortable over long distances. Knee and headroom is reasonable for rear passengers, and there's plenty of space up front. Practicality. This is really what the car is all about, and it ticks plenty of boxes. First of all, boot volume is very good indeed. In fact, it's larger than the already huge Peugeot 508 SW estate. With the rear seats up, there is 660 litres of space to the parcel shelf, or 810 litres to the roof. Fold the rear seats down and there's 1,515 litres to the window line, or 1,775 to the roof. The rear seats go completely flat, thanks to a design which moves the seat base forwards and downwards when the backrest is released. You can trigger the seats to fold via quick release levers in the boot or release controls on the seats themselves. Helpfully, a load-through hatch in the center of the rear seat backs is standard across the range, and there's space to stow the parcel shelf diagonally below the boot floor over the spare wheel well. There's less underfloor space than many of the 308 SW's rivals, however, and the floor itself could be more flexible. The parcel shelf itself is a retractable tongue cover, like many other cars of this type, and it's sometimes reluctant to retract smoothly. It's usefully small when it is retracted, though. Rails either side of the boot floor with sliding and removable tie-down hooks are another useful feature, and the plastic pockets at the sides of the boots can be removed to make it easier to load wide objects. There are also hooks inside the cabin to fit an optional full-length dog net. Compared with the hatchback, Peugeot 308 SW Practicality has been enhanced by a 9 cm longer wheelbase for improved rear passenger knee room and a 22 cm longer rear overhang to create the big boot. As a result, the rear doors open wider and the seats are positioned 29 mm further